I'm here to say J1 TV straight, the one I like a line and I make up back on the roll.
GJ Productions. Ataru.
Ataru, yeah. Tell them so we're African. God, this is power born. God, all of you want. True man walk like an African, talk like an African, chant like an African, smart like an African, read like an African, behave like an African, lead like an African. And true man bleed like an African, me lead like an African, grieve like an African. Oh my love, oh my love, oh my love, oh my love. I won't forget my history, I'm waiting for my victory. Africa is the country, that's where the blacks must be. We are scattered because of slavery, and like animals, that's how they sold me. Chains and shackles, they used to hold me, right here in captivity. But man, go on like an African, talk like an African, smart like an African, perform like an African, lead like an African, read like an African, bleed like an African. Oh man, know me African, me grow like an African, so like an African. Oh my love, oh my love, oh my love, oh my love. Oh my love, oh my love, oh my love, oh my love. Oh my love, oh my love, oh my love, oh my love. Oh my love, oh my love, oh my love, oh my love. It feels like I'm somewhere from Soweto. Mama Africa looks so much like the ghetto. It feels like I'm somewhere from Soweto. That's why me walk like an African, talk like an African, smart like an African, chant like an African, lead like an African, bleed like an African. Me feel like an African, that's why me go on like an African, perform like an African, storm like an African, born like an African. Oh my lay, oh my lay, oh my lay, oh my la la.